As we meditate, if thoughts randomly come into our mind, just let them pass by gently. No need to hold on to them. And recenter our attention on the one substance that we are one with that holy divine presence of the universe. And as we continue this meditation, remember to put a small smile on your face. Feel joy, feel happiness, and know that that one substance, that God, that spirit is in you now. Let's just feel it and be joyful for it. as we close this meditation, let us remember there's only one life. It's God's life. It's perfect. It's our life. And let's remember there's only one holy substance flowing in and out of creation. And we are a perfect expression of it. And let us celebrate that through the rest of our day. Release this into the mind of God simply and easily by saying, "And so it is." Thank you for being here and sharing this meditation with me.
sight. Rainbows have visions, but only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. I thought I'd start out by just doing some of my favorite songs. This one by Kermit the Frog. It's actually written by Jimmy Webb and Kenny Asher. Why are there so many songs about rainbows anyway? It's a good question. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? What do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? Have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Rainbow connection, someday we'll find it somewhere. When all the clouds darken up the skyway and the rain clouds tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream, they really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Thank you. A couple of favorites. And we just went through February, the month of love, so I'm going to play my favorite love song for you by the Gershwins. It was the last one that Ira was able to put words to, the melody that George had written. Because George died very young. Ira lived to be in his 90s. It's very clear our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but forever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know, they may just be passing fancies and in time may go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. They're only made of clay. But our love is here to stay. It's very clear our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but forever and a day. You know the radio and the telephone and the movies that we know, they may just be passing fancies and in time may go. But oh, oh, oh my dear, I know our love is here to stay. I know together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. They're only made of clay. But our love is here to stay forever and a day. Our love is here to stay. Thank you.
help me give out these certificates?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Reverend Ken Wilcox.
Thank you, Kathy. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, St. Augustine. I'm Reverend Ken, and I'm very grateful and happy you're here this morning because this is a place of power. This is a place where dreams come true. This is a place where you can leave encouraged and inspired, knowing that there's a powerful goodness within the universe. It's at your disposal to live with more love, more joy, more happiness, more prosperity and health. And all you have to do to empower this great idea is just for the next 45 minutes or so to leave all your troubles, your fears, your would have, could have, should have, leave all that stuff outside. And for the next little bit, just open up an avenue of spirit possibilities. And what are spirit possibilities? They're for more love, more joy, more happiness, more prosperity, more friendship, more laughter, more music, more dance, more great food. All those things in life that make us feel alive, because that's what Spirit is doing through you and through me, showing up in the physical, recognizing itself through our love, our joy, and our laughter. So know you're in a great place this morning, and God is going to recognize and reward you abundantly. Well, just a couple of announcements before we get going. Today we have a class starting at 11:30. It's the Power of Your Word, and it's an 8-week class. It's for a love offering. It's going to be a really great way to deepen your spiritual practice. It's also a great way to get to meet friends. And before we get going on that class, I'm going to ask Brenda to come up and help me give out some certificates from our last class. So if Brenda, if you will read them off.
Linda Palermo.
If you'll come up and grab your certificate. Linda.
Elizabeth Pruce. Richard Austin. Susan Brenner. Jim Cadigan. Linda Ryan. Linda Simpson. Fran Stanko.
That's Fran's. That's Fran. Thank you, Linda.
Bill Durbin. And Barbara Durbin. Annie Mance. Debbie Kubro. Joy Hemp, who I'm sure is not here.
Okay.
She's at the forgiveness ceremony. Diane, Diane von Althil.
Okay.
Michael Fagan. Judy Fagan. Edward Bigelow. Not here.
There you go. Thank you.
And Jerry Linton.
Here you go, Jerry. As I mentioned, class is a marvelous way to get to know people, to have a lot of fun, but also to deepen your practice. Start attending class, and it can change your life altogether. Well, just a couple of announcements before we get going. There is a Ukraine seminar that's going on March 14th. There's a flyer outside if you'd like to hear more about that. This gentleman at a relatively older age decided to become part of the Peace Corps. He was in Ukraine before he had to evacuate, and he has some understanding of what's going on in Ukraine now. If that sounds like something interesting to you, there is a flyer in the holder. You can find out more about that. And we have Ted Manley coming up to tell us about the Venus Manley Scholarship.
Thank you, Reverend Ken. Good morning, everybody. Those of you who don't know, we have a scholarship that we give annually here, and we're in the sixth year of our scholarship of the Venus Manley Scholarship. My daughter, Venus, was one to join us here at the church years ago. So we're in the middle of the campaign now. We need several things. We need money to contribute to the scholarship. It's a $1,000 scholarship. We'd love to give $3,000. So your contributions would help toward that. But we also need bodies, because the process is such that for the applicants to the scholarship, we have a panel, a group of panelists. We have a group of readers for the applications for the scholarship. And those of you who are interested in either being on the panel to see and interview the candidates or read their applications, see me after service, please. And we also have a youth program going on in the back. Those of you who have children or grandchildren who, while you're here, we just want you to know that we have that going on every Sunday in the back, those of you who don't know. So with that, I don't know if that's 30 seconds or not. It's the best I can do.
Thanks, Ted.
Well done.
I just want to add, because I've done this for so many years, if you really feel like you need to be uplifted and encouraged and inspired in your challenges, come and be a part of these committees that listen to these young kids. Let me tell you, these young kids will inspire you. These young kids have struggled against all kinds of challenges, learning disabilities or physical disabilities, and they have hopes and dreams, and they're not going to let their challenges hold them back. And I'm telling you, listening to these kids, it will give you inspiration to go and deal with what you have to deal with and to keep seeking a better vision for yourself. So talk to Ted. This is a really wonderful thing to do. Well, I think those are all of my announcements. So, Kathy, I know you got some great music for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. I'm not sure. You're gonna give your talk right after this, right?
We'll get there, yes.
Okay, so I think we'll do just for one more day. I might have done this last time. And I love to come over to St. Augustine. It's kind of like our beach. We consider it, Gainesvillians consider this our beach. So I'm always happy to be here with all of you. And I might have done this song last time I was here, but I think it's kind of goes with the message today about the power of your word and using words that you know are going to have the right result. Just for one more day, I choose kinder words to say. With an open heart, I do my part to keep doubt and fear at bay. I won't be cold or small. I'll look for the good in all. And I'll shine a light on the dark of night to help others find their way. Just for one more day. I know that peace begins within. We each must do our part to bring about a peaceful world. I must come from a peaceful heart. So this is what I'll do, and I'll start right here with you. In a loving way, I'll say, Namaste. I behold the good in you, just for one more illuminating you and me. So this is what I'll do, and you can do it too. Just turn to your neighbor and in a loving way say, Namaste. I behold the good in you, just for one more each day, one more, just for one more
Lovely. Thank you, Kathy. And now we have Brenda coming up, and she's going to do a reading and treatment for us. Come on up, Brenda.
Morning, everyone. Well, there we are. Good morning, everyone. And welcome to the people who are online listening to this service, and also if you're listening to the service later this week through a recording, good to have you with us. This morning I'm going to do lyrics from one of Eddie Watkins Jr.'s songs. Eddie Watkins Jr. was our musician here for several years, and what impresses me the most about him, many things. He writes his own music. His lyrics are teachings, and the teachings come through beautiful music. And I want to read the lyrics from one of my favorite songs, I Fly. Now, if you have a fear of flying, stay on the ground if you want, but just know you're in control of this flight. No one's going to do anything, and you're in total control of this flight. So, the lyrics are, I let it go. I release the thing I'm clinging to. I release what's holding me, and I'm falling into God's love. I let it be. There's nothing more for me to do, nothing more to say. I'm just falling into God's love. I feel Spirit holding me. It's lifting me on high. I rise on a power I can't see, and on the wings of love I fly. I fly. I don't ask why. I don't need to understand everything. And it's by faith I fly, and it's by faith I see. I see. If you haven't heard the song, just go to Alexa if you have that, the music, and just say to play music play I Fly by Eddie Watkins Jr. It will lift you up. I just love that song. So, as we go into the prayer, an affirmative prayer, which is affirming that which we want for ourselves, that we know for ourselves. I know that there is one divine being, divine intelligence, divine energy that is the substance of this universe. And it flows through me, with me, and as me. I'm one with it. There's no separation between me and what we call spirit, God, whatever it is that you call it. We are one with it. And I know that I rise on the power of love. I rise on the wings of love, the power and wings that this presence, this divine energy provides for me. And I can fly as high as I want. I can land sometimes, and oftentimes I do. And I forget to keep my consciousness on this spirit. And when I bring my consciousness back to this spirit, I feel like I can do anything I want. And I can, because Spirit provides for me. I'm grateful for this center, for Reverend Ken, for the practitioners, for the beautiful music that musicians are bringing to us. Music is such a wonderful creation. It is truly spirit moving through the musician as the musician is its vessel. It moves through it, through that vessel, through that musician, bringing wonderful creations. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for each of you for being here this morning, for sharing the love and community. And I release this into the mind of God, knowing that all of this will come back reflected in ways that none of us can even imagine. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Brenda.
Well, I guess we'll do oneness after that word. Yeah, this is a song I wrote with James Dillett Freeman's words. He was the poet laureate of Unity, and I did a whole album where I put music to his words. It's called The Traveler, and this one's called Oneness. I got people from all over to play on this song. Out on the Cape, where sea and land are almost one, I like to stand. Their boundaries refuse to mix, and sea and earth and I all are one. For sometimes I am swept along a crowded street, one with the throng, and losing consciousness of me, feel only my humanity. Or in the silence of a prayer, feel God's presence everywhere. My heart disappears into God's song. Where does God end? Where do I start? Yeah, acoustic idol on the cello. Cape where sea and land are almost one, I like to stand. Their boundaries refuse to fix, sea and earth and I all are one. For sometimes I am swept along a crowded street, one with the throng, and losing consciousness of me, feel only my humanity. Or in the silence of a prayer, I find God's presence everywhere. My heart dissolves in God's one heart. Where does God end? Where do I start? Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. So my talk title today is A New View, A New View. I was very happy that we had Silver Flan here last week. I'm sure you enjoyed her talk, and she did her talk on forgiveness. I was out and about during the town this week because I had a friend down. I was showing some different sites, and we happened to go by the Greek shrine downtown. If you've never been there, it's really kind of an overlooked attraction here in St. Augustine. And a friend of mine runs it, and she's also very in the hierarchy of the Greek Orthodox Church. And she was telling me that they had started Lent that past Sunday. They do it a little different than Catholics. They start on Sunday. And she says they start with the talk on forgiveness. So I just thought it was funny how they were doing forgiveness last week, the same time Silver Fawn was doing her talk on forgiveness. Same message from different sources, but the same idea, forgiveness. It also reminded me of being in high school and having my Catholic friends worry about what they had to come up with to give up for Lent. You know, it had to be something significantly showy to impress their parents and the priests, but not something to really cramp their style. So it was something like chocolate when they really needed to give up cigarette smoking. And I thought about Lent, you know, the whole idea of giving something up, of almost punishing yourself to have this higher vibration. And I don't want to criticize anybody, but wouldn't it be a good exercise instead of giving something up to add to? And to say, you know, okay, I'm going to go into the next 40 days, I'm going to be more loving. I'm going to do these 40 days, I'm going to be more compassionate. I'm going to be more kind. And I think that certainly would raise our vibration more up to a Christ-level consciousness, certainly more than giving up chocolate. I don't think Christ would be interested in that at all. But a more loving presence, that I think could get the universe excited. So we're going into a new season now with spring showing up. I got worried when I woke up this morning, I was worried if we hadn't actually gone back to daylight savings time. And I was like, oh, I'm an hour behind. But fortunately, that's next week. So things are changing, things are blooming, things are blossoming. It's a time to start planning. It's a different vibration. We're going into a different season. For the winter months, we stayed inside by the hearth. That was a more closed environment, more introspective. Now we're back out in the fields. We're back outside. We're experiencing the expansiveness of spirit. And it would be a wonderful time if you would go over to the beach in the coming weeks and look out on that ocean and say, that which has created this has created me. That which has created this has created me. And the power that has is flowing through me as well. But there's a difference. That power is unconscious. The power I have is with my consciousness. I can choose to direct this cosmic energy. I can choose to direct this cosmic possibilities. And just like that tide has no choice as to where the water is going to come to the shore, there's no deliberation in that. The same is true with those cosmic possibilities. If I will direct them towards my good, towards my health, my love, my wisdom, or towards a more loving world, it has no choice. It must flow into those areas. The cosmic possibilities of the universe will show up supporting my better ideas for myself. Dr. Holmes says we interpret source or spirit through our perception of it. Our ideas about life become our experience. You don't get what you pray for. You don't get what you hope for. You get what you believe is true for yourself. You get what you think you deserve. Life will give us the proof we need to justify our conclusions we've made about it. So we want to raise our conclusions. Dr. Holmes says it's logical to think the nature of God is constructive, is good, is pure, is with wisdom. And when we communicate with the divine, and when we approach this reality through harmony, through peace, and through joy, we can more easily make a connection. And when we reflect back to it ideas of constructive ideas of love, joy, and happiness, of goodness and wisdom, it responds, and there's a multiplying effect. Just doesn't say with us. There's a larger increase. Nature's forever expanding. Dr. Holmes says that there is something within us that longs for a sympathetic understanding. You know, I'm fascinated by near-death experiences. And one of the things is when you talk to people who've had those experiences, they say the first thing they experienced when they had crossed over to a new reality is they got overwhelming love. Overwhelming love. No judgment, just love. Dr. Holmes says we can come close to having this kind of experience through the loved ones of one another, by experiencing the closeness of one another. And he says when we deal with one another, we should realize we're dealing with a manifestation of the divine. He says when we talk to one another, we need to realize it is God talking to God. Namaste. The spirit within me is recognizing the spirit within you. He says if we will go more deeply into our own nature, he says we can have a marvelous experience, a spiritual experience, but he says it's going to be a logical one, a sane one. It's not going to be one that has us going off and doing goofy stuff. It's going to be one that will allow us to move through our lives in a greater and dynamic way. God is not the author of confusion. So when we make a connection with Spirit, it's going to give us ways to move through life with more wisdom, with more truth, with more power, with more authenticity. More of you. More of you. He says, in this place, we will sense something that we have only dreamed of, and it will become a reality with us. Because within us, this is where we meet God. This is where we can learn to talk to Spirit. He says we can learn to talk to Spirit as consciously as we talk to other people. And he says, in doing so, we will learn that we will have a partner in life, that we haven't come all this way on our own. We have a presence there with us who can help us make decisions, who can lead us into empowerment so we can trust ourselves and stay true to ourselves, and we don't allow the turmoil of the world to misguide us. We'll stay focused on what we know is true for ourselves, and we will move and have the authentic journey that we're called to do. We won't be misdirected. You won't be like my dear friend Donna. My friend Donna, I knew her right when I was in college, and she was this wonderful person, very dramatic. She wasn't really sort of a beautiful person, she was a striking person. She wore a lot of feathers. And in Macon, Georgia, in the early 80s, that was right up there with being a communist. If you wore feathers, there was something wrong with you. Now, my dear friend, she's made a transition a couple of years ago, but she was a character. And when we were both in college, her mother, who was very concerned about her always, was kind of a doting kind of mom, had kept insurance on her, and she was always after her to keep up with her health. So she talked Donna into going to see a doctor. She had this good insurance. And so Donna went in and saw the doctor. The doctor did an exam on her. Everything was fine. But the doctor found out she had a deviated septum, nasal septum, the little part in the middle. And he just convinced her that unless she had that fixed, that it was going to restrict oxygen to her brain was going to start dying off, digits would start falling off. I mean, her nose was likely to explode at any moment. And he just had her so wound up that she had to have this surgery. And at that time, it really was a surgery. You went into the hospital for a couple of days. They packed your sinuses. It was really uncomfortable. Now, she said she knew. She knew she didn't need to do this. She knew she didn't have this done. But her mom and the doctor just rolled her right into it. And the next thing she knew, they were rolling her into the operating room. So they said she got her into the operating room, and they didn't knock her out, which probably would have been a smart thing. They just had her on the little twilight, stuff. And she said they put this mechanism over her head. And she said, first of all, it stabilized her head so she could move it. And she says, way up high, she could see this hammer attached to a lever. And the doctor came to her and he says, now, Donna, he says, take a deep breath. And when she took that deep breath, he pulled out this little pin, and she says that hammer started slowly coming down, and when it got to her nose, it cracked it like a walnut. Yeah. So she had her nose all blown up because it swelled up. When she got back into the hospital room, her mom freaked out and told him, said, you've got to move all the mirrors out of here. She can't see her nose. If she sees her nose, she's just going to freak out. So they moved all the mirrors out of the room, and Donna, of course, was feeling her nose, which was very swollen, and she was freaking out. She wanted to see what they had done to her. So she called all her friends up, and she told them, bring me a mirror. You got to bring me a mirror so I can see this. Well, one of her friends, this guy who was enjoying the 80s a little bit too much, let me say, he got up to see her. He had forgotten the mirror. But he didn't want to disappoint her, so instead of not showing up empty-handed, he screwed off his rear view mirror of his car. And that had just come up with the technology of things closer look bigger. And when Donna took the rear view mirror and looked at her nose, she said it looked the size of a billboard. And it freaked her out so bad they had to come and sedate her. Now, don't be like Donna. Keep your eyes focused on what you want to achieve. Dr. Holmes says there's a still small voice within us, and it's forever encouraging us, ever urging us want to be in this partnership. Much of humanity, in fact, way too much of humanity, is still tied up with the notion of a desire of a parent God, of really a sugar daddy God. We're going to pray for this, and it automatically comes to us. This is not the experience of this lifetime. This isn't this experience. There are other experiences and other dimensions where that is true, but on this plane, we have to do our work. On this plane, we're in partnership with Spirit. We do our part, and Spirit will do its. You often find people say, well, I just want to be told what to do. God is not going to do that. God is not going to tell you what you need to do in your life. You're going to have to do the groundwork. You're going to have to do the searching. It will be with you every step of your way, but you're going to have to be the one out making the progress. And when we do this, we will find this co-partner with life, urging us on. Now, this class that we've got starting later this morning or afternoon is a really amazing class. It's talking about the power of your word. And Dr. Holmes, we're going to use one of his books, Can We Talk to God? It's really an interesting idea, because not only can you talk to God, but you're already talking to God. You do it all the time. It's your self-talk. Who did you think you were talking to? You're talking to somebody. You're talking to Spirit. This is your prayer unceasing. Scripture says, we're to get to a point where we pray unceasing. This is the prayer unceasing, our self-talk. And for most of us, it's a lot of negativity. It's just regrinding a lot of the old negative problems that we go over, our complaints, our disappointments, all of that stuff. And after a while, that just becomes background noise. But you can, with a better idea, a positive, a more creative idea, that was the term I was looking for, a creative idea, launch a rocket of desire out to cosmic possibilities. And that high vibration of a creative idea of how you can live in more love, how you can live in more peace and joy, that is what has power to it. And if you launch that into cosmic possibility, you're going to get a response, a high vibration communicating with a higher vibration. This is possible. So as you know, last week I had a friend down. And it's a friend I've known for over 40 years. We started working at TGI Fridays in Atlanta, Georgia together. And we've stayed friends all these many years. And so it was a lot of fun to have him down. He had a health challenge around Christmas time. And so he's just kind of getting back to his sea legs. And so we would do some touring, then we would come back home and have some fun things to eat. And we'd put television on. And I made sure I had a bunch of shows that would make him laugh. So we were watching Whose Line Is It Anyway? I don't know if you ever watched it. It's really a great show. And we would laugh at it sometimes. We'd have to rewind it to listen to it again and laugh even more. So my little dog Sadie, who's has some challenges of her own. She'd had a tough day. But by that time, she had settled down. She was sleeping. She wasn't paying us any attention at all. She was sleeping in the corner. The door was open. You could hear the birds, and there was a gentle breeze. And I thought to myself, this is heaven. There's nothing more that needs to be added here to make this heaven. This here is heaven right now. And that's what Christ said in the scripture. Christ says that people will say it's here, it's there, it's in your midst. It's here now when we proclaim it. And when you recognize it and say, this now is heaven, then that's like Moses shutting down his staff before the Red Sea. That's when you're dealing with some power. Because when you can recognize heaven, you can identify heaven in the moment. This is also good. When you say here now, then your ability to see more of it expands. And you become a conduit for heaven in your life, in this moment. And let me tell you, with all the trouble that's going on in the world right now, we need as many conduits for heaven as we can get. And it brings a great possibility of a new heaven and a new earth. And this light that we have growing from us can never be taken from us. It can always just expand more and more and more. And that's what we're here to see. That's what we're here to recognize. We stand at this crossroad of conscious thought and collective unconscious, Carl Jung called it. And through this gateway of our own thought, we flows this cosmic energy, these cosmic ideas, this eternal flow of possibilities. And we want to encourage those that are loving and positive, and those that are less loving and less positive, we just want to let them slide by. Don't give them any more energy. You can't be responsible for them showing up. They show up in your lifetime, but don't give them any energy. Let them slide on by. Look for those things that confirm your best ideas for yourself in the world. This past week, I had to run up to the grocery store to pick up something, Cheetos actually, and as I was going in, I had to go past the little martial arts place, gym, right in front of the store. And always the parents, before class starts, the parents have the kids outside and they're prepping them, they're getting them ready for it. And I saw a dad with a little girl. And she was just a little peanut. I mean, she was like 4 or 5 at best. And she had her, martial arts outfit on, and she had a gold belt instead of just a regular white belt. So the gold belt I knew meant something. And the dad was helping her put it on. He could have wrapped that belt around her 28 times, as tiny as she was. And I marveled at him in this experience because I could see the real connection he was having with her and the fact that she was, going in this class and I thought, he's giving her a sense of protection. He is giving her a sense of courage that she can go out in the world and she can make her own way in the world. And she's going to grow up to be a young woman who will never let some wacko doctor talk her into crushing her nose like a walnut. She's going to have better sense than that. And she's going to move out with conviction. She's going to move out with courage. And she's going to make a difference. And my seeing it, my acknowledging it, it not only empowers me, it empowers her, it empowers Dad. I didn't have to go up and say anything to them, because if I did, they would have thought I was a weirdo and called the police. But just my thought of it, my recognition of it, changes my life, her life, his life, the world. This is what we're doing. This is powerful. Don't underestimate who you are and whose you are. You're here to make a big, huge difference. You're here to make the world a better place. I tell you always, it can't be that way. It's changing all the time, and we're here to make that change better. We're here to lift our eyes up to a new heaven, a new earth, a new experience. So this week, I want you to go out and take that rear view mirror of regret and judgment that you've been fascinated by far too long and throw it out, because nobody else is interested in it. They listen to you because they're polite, not because they're interested. Throw that rear view mirror out and you be like Aretha Franklin. You sail down the highway of love in a pink Cadillac looking for road signs of love, for prosperity, for love and joy, because they're there for you to see, there to guide you. And in doing this, you're going to find a new route, a new view of goodness, of joy and fun, of laughter made manifest through you and for you. It's what you've come to do, and God believes in you. So let's go out and make the world a better place. We can do it. It's the truth in your life this morning. It's the truth in mine, and so it is. Thank you.
He knows how to get y'all fired up, doesn't he? Wow. Well, I think we can do this power chant because we're talking about working on our inner power and getting our power to come out. And I really like this chant a lot. It's really simple. And I used to do this a lot when I was going to the hospital to play music for people. That was my career for about 30 years. So I would do this in the morning and know that I was going to take this positive energy and power with me into that situation and do what I could for whoever I came across. So if you want to, you can stand up and sing this one. It's a call and response, just like the old churches used to do, right? So I can sing the words and you can sing them right after me, and I think it'll work out. We'll just do it a few times. And then after that, if you want, we'll do it straight through, without the pause and, echo part. All right? But right now, just repeat after me. I am the power in everyone. I am the dance of the moon and the sun. I am the hope that never dies. I am the turning of the tide. I am the power in everyone. I am the dance of the moon and the sun. I am the hope that never dies. I am the turning of the tide. Now, if you want, you can add a little effects to it. You can say power, or you can say turning, you can turn around, you can do a little dance, whatever you're moved to do when those words come wrong. All right, here we go. I am the power in everyone. I am the dance of the moon and the sun. I am the hope that never dies. I am the turning of the tide. I think you're getting it. Okay, let's do it straight through now. Power, dance, hope, and turning. Ready? I am the power in everyone. I am the dance of the moon and the sun. I am the hope that never dies. I am the turning of the tide. I am the power in everyone. I am the dance of the moon and the sun. I am the hope that never dies. I am the turning of the tide. I am the power in everyone. I am the dance of the moon and the sun. I am the hope that never dies. I am the turning of the tide. And so it is. All right.
Thank you, Kathy. So now we come to the time we support our center, and we support this center because this place is doing good and great work, and your support is making it happen. Now you can support us in a couple of ways. One way, you can do volunteer work here. We always have places that we need some help with. The other way you can support us is in prayer and consciousness, seeing us grow and thrive, seeing us moving in the right direction. And of course, you can do so with financial support. However you choose to support, know that it's going to help you and it's going to come back to your life in a greater way. So if you will place your intention over your heart and read with me this affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all I share with life returns to me, multiply abundantly. And if the ushers will step forward, and Kathy.
I think I'll do a song by Karen Drucker. Y'all familiar with her? You know, Eddie Watkins, Karen Drucker, Janice Stanfield, David Roth, all these people are part of what we'd like to call the POSI movement, the positive music movement. And we all get together every year at a wonderful festival and just hear all kinds of beautiful, positive music and get affirmations, you know, to go along with our lives. So, Karen has a great song. She's really good at chants. She does a lot of fun chants. And this is one called God is My Source, God is My Power. Sounds a little bit like a Carole King song, and you know, maybe that's because when she was 14, she was Carole King's daughter's babysitter. No, she was Carole King's babysitter. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Thank you, Kathy. I know. Thank you, Betsy. Thank you for your support. Your contribution is allowing this center to grow and to thrive, to continue to be a beacon of hope and healing for the world. And so we know your support is going to bless us, going to bless you. It's going to bless our community. It's going to make a new day possible. So we thank you. We bless it. We release it, knowing it does its good and powerful work, returning to us multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, so now I'm going to close out our service with a final prayer, an affirmative prayer. I'm going to take it, I'll do it in the first person, but take it in for yourself. If I say something that works for you, hold tight to that. If I say something that doesn't work for you, just let that part slide by. But just know this truth with me this morning. There is only one God and one mind and one power. And that power is perfect love. It's divine intelligence. And that power is showing up for each of us. And this is my prayer, that for every single person here, that in the coming week, this power of love and compassion and kindness shows up in a dynamic and powerful way so that none of us can deny that it is at work in our lives. Because I know this power is goodness. I know it's love. And I know it is with me and for me. It is demonstrating through me a life of love and joy and peace and harmony. This morning, I know there's nothing too hard for God and there's nothing too good for me. So I leave this place inspired. I leave this place encouraged. I leave here knowing that there's nothing in the world that can stop the goodness and love and health and prosperity of God demonstrating through me. Spirit has lifted me up with a better idea, a creative thought that I am here to live the life that God had in mind when it called me by name from stardust. So I'm not turning back. I have lifted my eyes up and I have seen a new heaven and a new earth, and I'm doing my part to make it a reality. God and I can solve every problem, every trouble the world throws at us. We are a dynamic do-some, and we are not going to be held back. This is my truth. Every cell in my being radiates this right knowing, and I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave you with one last idea, and that is your life. Your life, it's not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is to go name your miracle, to proclaim your miracle, and to make it your own. God bless us all. Now let us go be the miracle God is calling us to be. Until we see each other again, this is Reverend Ken wishing you many blessings.
So, you want to stand up and do Let There Be Peace on Earth?
Yes.
Y'all want to stand up and sing Let There Be Peace on Earth? And let it begin with each and every one of us. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. If you'd like to take any of my music home, I'll be out there with some CDs, and also I have cards with my website and all that kind of thing on them. Thank you for having me.